And the title is Poor or Rich, the Grave Calls. So I'm going to start, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know if I'm going to read all the way through and then talk, or then teach, or if I'm going to do it in between. I'm going to let the Ruach HaKodesh guide me and lead me in this like I do every other teaching that I do. Job continued his speech. I swear by the living God, who is denying me justice, and by Shaddai, who deals with me so bitterly. He was feeling a little sorry for himself. And we can't say nothing because every one of us has done the same thing. That as long as my life remains in me, and God's breath is in my nostrils, my lips will not speak unrighteousness, or any tongue utter deceit. For be it from me to say you are right. I will keep my integrity till the day I die. I hold to my righteousness. I won't let it go. My heart will not shame me as long as I live. Job is telling his friends, I did nothing wrong. I've held on to righteousness. I've held on to my integrity. I've never gossiped about anybody. I never lied about anybody. I've never stolen nothing from anybody. I've never did anybody any kind of wrong. So he's defending his righteousness. And I was like, again, but not going to say nothing about that because we all would. We all would. For what hope does the godless have in his gain when God takes away his life? This is all about what this title is about. I'm going to keep reading. Will God hear his cry when trouble comes upon him? Will he take delight in Shaddai and always call on God? I am teaching you how God uses power, not hiding what Shaddai is doing. Look, you all can see for yourselves, so why are you talking such empty nonsense? This is God's reward for the wicked man, the heritage oppressor received from Shaddai. I will continue reading, but I'm going to say this right here. Money will not buy your way into heaven, and it will not sell your way out of hell. So when a rich man dies, it's the same thing as a poor man dying. At the end, when you're in that grave, you know nothing. You cannot say nothing. You cannot say, you go here, you go there. You cannot sit there and manage your finances. You cannot know, you don't even know what your finances are at that time. All you are is dry bones in a grave. And that's going to be end up for everybody unless they are taken up in the rapture. And you're going to stand in front of God, rich or poor. And you are going to be judged, not by how rich you are, not by how poor you are, but how much you obeyed the word of God. And about whether or not you're born again of the blood and the water. If his sons become many, they go to the sword, and his children never have enough to eat. Those of his who remain are buried by plague, and their widows do not weep. Let's say this. I've seen too many times, and even in my own family, where somebody passed away, and people would argue and fight over material things. And honestly, why do that? My mother, when she died of cancer years ago, before my son was born. She didn't have a penny to give none of us. None. And back then it kind of hurt me, because I wanted something to remember about. But now I'm thankful that she didn't have it. Because the last thing I would have wanted was to sit there and fight over and argue over material things while my mom was sitting in the grave. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I think that the way I think now, the way I believe now, I think I would have rejected it because I would have not want to been in that argument. But she left me something better. She was poor like me, didn't have nothing like me. But she taught me that material things is not the only thing there is. And she wasn't even saved. She wasn't even sanctified. She was a sinner. She was a drunk. She used to tell me, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm a drunk. I'm too poor to be an alcoholic. That's kind of her way of joking about it. She used to tell me she would love to be comfortable, not rich. And I'm the same way. I would like that. But I do know that no matter what material things I have on this earth, it's not going with me to heaven. And I want more than anything to be able to focus on God and His kingdom. Am I saying it's wrong to be rich? No, it's not. It would be great if you're blessed being rich. But everything we are blessed with, we're to share with others. It should be flowing from us, not stagnated in us. In other words, we are not to be a dead sea. We're to let that blessing flow. Even if he piles up silver like dust and stores away clothing in mounds like clay, he may collect it, but the just will wear it, and the upright divide up the silver. Now we know we're using this about going to grave. So if you are rich, now not everybody has kids that know how to manage money. So not everybody's kids who inherits is going to be able to retain the company on the level that they did. Now some can, but not all. But let's get this, when you die, you can't do nothing about that silver. You can't do nothing about that gold. You cannot do nothing about that company. You relinquish the right, you lose the privilege of being the CEO of that company once you go to that grave. And what is done after you die, you have no say over. So you better teach those kids something that's more eternal than that company is. He builds his house weak as a spider's web, as flimsy as a watchman's shack. Now we can take this two ways. We can take it as an actual house, or we can take it about his descendants, and whether or not he spoiled them because they were rich and didn't teach them how to be responsible. Now we know that's not all rich people. And we know that not all poor people teach their kids standards. But in this one, it's for both. Teach your kids what's important. Teach your kids what's valuable. It's not that almighty dollar. He may lie down rich, but his wealth yields nothing. When he opens his eyes, it isn't there. Terror overtakes him like a flood at night. A whirlwind steals him away. The east wind carries him off and he's gone. It sweeps him far from his place. You can't take it with you. Yes, it hurls itself at him, sparing nothing. He does all he can to flee from its power. People clap their hands at him in derision and hiss him out of his home. I want to say this again. Rich or poor, the grave calls. And when the grave calls, you are left nothing but with dry bones. And the day will come, you will stand in front of the Almighty and be judged. And your money cannot buy you into heaven, and it cannot sell you out of hell.